Hello and welcome to Normal to Formal Podcast. I'm your host, Tia Young. I'm the founder of Tia Young Image and Etiquette. I help my clients learn the soft skills for success through professional development and etiquette training. Today's topic is International Travel Etiquette, episode number 43. It's that time of year, summertime, and we do most of our traveling during the time off from school for the students and vacation time with family. So I just want to share a few tips about travel internationally.
I am a former flight attendant with United Airlines, and I flew for 14 years, and I've been able to travel around the world and see a lot of beautiful destinations. As a matter of fact, as flight attendants or any kind of airline travel staff member, you received buddy passes that we called them, and your family and friends would get to travel free or close to free. So every year I would take my mom on a trip wherever she wanted to go for her birthday. So we've traveled to beautiful and exotic destinations, including Sweden, Rio de Janeiro, also Austria. So some of those places are very, very beautiful to see. So I just wanted to come and share a few tips for you today. So, a few things to know before you go. You have to get a ticket, first of all. So, the earlier, the better you get the ticket. Sometimes you get a better price. But nowadays, tickets are a lot higher than they were pre COVID. So, the earlier, the better that you get your ticket. Make sure that you print it as well as have it on your phone, because sometimes your phone or signal might not be there and you're trying to get through security and you can't pull it up. So always have a paper copy as well, and any documents as well. Research the city or country that you're going to find out things that are for sightseeing or things that you might want to do. There's going to be different money for international travel as well, that will be exchanged. What I found when I go to Europe, when I was a flight attendant, I was based in Washington, D.C., and flew the European routes. And for instance, flying to London, they spoke English there. The hotels, though, were very, very small compared to the United States. We have things a lot bigger here than in other countries. Even the cars are smaller, the roads are smaller. So getting used to those different things. So research that country, find out the language. When I flew to Paris, of course, I couldn't speak French, but learn as much as you can before you go. Packing, try not to overpack, especially if you want to buy things to bring home with you. So never overpack. Your bag will be weighed. And if it goes over that 50 pounds, you're going to have to pay additional costs. I went on a trip and I couldn't decide what to bring. So I brought way too much. And I was charged $75 more because it went over 50 pounds. It was like 55 pounds, 5 pounds over, and it was another $75. So keep that in mind. Get your scale after you pack, put your suitcase on that scale to see how much it actually weighs. Because you don't want to pay any extra cost. You want to use that money for your sightseeing excursions. Your documents, your passport, if you don't have one, get one. Be ready to travel, and be ready to go. So having that passport and any other documents you may need in advance, because it takes time to get those things back after you send it off, for it to be approved and come back to you to be able to use. Like I mentioned earlier, the hotels, they're a lot different than they are here in the United States. So do a little research and find out where you'll be staying. And it's always safe to stay at a well-known or chain type hotels to be safe. But if you've done research and you have a tour guide, that's a lot safer when you're with groups and not going on your own. My mom and I, when I mentioned earlier, we would go on trips. And we went on a trip and we had to take transportation from from the airport to the hotel. We ended up getting in a taxi that was like a luxury taxi. He said it was a higher end car, and we ended up paying 3 times as much than a normal taxi would have cost. So we didn't know. So had to pay that extra money. As far as sightseeing goes, like I said, try to stay with the group because it's very easy for people to steal from you, pickpocket, con you out of your money when you're shopping, especially on the street vendors. Be very, very careful. Put it inside your jacket or coat or inside, your pocket deep so no one can take it out You need to get back home, so you need those documents. And like I said, make copies of those documents as well. When you do go out sightseeing and you're shopping, bargaining is fine, but when you're in a well-established like a mall, you really can't bargain in there. Well, you can try, but you're probably going to offend the people and they're going to say no. But more casual shopping on the street, or like when you go into almost like a flea market type place, you can bargain in those spots, but not in a well-established brick and mortar location. I forgot to mention as well, when you're on the airplane, the flight is going to be long. When I would fly to Washington, D.C. to say Milan, Italy, that was a 9 hour flight. So make sure you have things to do, something to read, your earbuds and music. You can watch the movies on the airplane, but it's going to be a very long flight. The restrooms, there's not very many compared to the number of people that are on. So you got to keep all that in mind when you're traveling. Learn the language, or as much as you can. For instance, going to France, learning French, at least the basic common courtesies. Hello, please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, those kind of things. Or where is the such and such? Where's the restroom? Where's the market? Where's the mall? So try to learn those things. But nowadays, our technology with our phones, there's translation apps. They can say it into the phone, or you can say it and it translates it into that language. So that's the great thing about technology and our phones these days. It'll translate it for you, but still learn a little bit, because they will look at us as being rude when we don't know their language, because most of them will know English as well as their own language. So try to learn a little bit and they'll be able to help you a little bit more, and they'll feel more inclined to help you when you're lost and looking for directions, if you can ask using a few of their terms of their language. Dress appropriately. Dress appropriately. My mom and I went, no, it was actually my husband and I went on a trip we were in Italy and the Vatican City, the cathedral there, and it was beautiful. But you can't go in if your shoulders aren't covered, you don't have on sleeves, and your knees are lower. So you can't have on shorts. You have to have sleeves on your arms. So you had to be very respectful in that particular tourist area. You could not go into that sacred location without being dressed appropriately. So be careful what you wear. You want to be able to enjoy everything, and you don't want to offend others in that country. Make sure you follow the rules, any rules that they may have. You might be able to do it here in the States, but they might not allow it in that particular country. Be very, very careful what you do, any slang, sometimes hand signals might offend others by doing certain things. So be careful of that. Never litter. After you've had a snack or a drink, find the trash can. It might look a little different than we have here, but find out how they look and where they are, so you can leave trash where it belongs. And most of all, when you're traveling, you want to have fun. You don't want to take your work over there. You want to go have fun. But like I said, when you go to a museum or do sightseeing tours, if you can afford it, try to get a guide, because I remember traveling somewhere and trying to kind of go through a museum on my own and look at the things. You really don't get that detail about that Mona Lisa picture and why she's smiling that way if you're not part of that tour and that person with the expertise to explain the things that you're looking at. You're going to miss a lot of great things if you don't have someone from that country or city to explain the things to you. So have fun, enjoy yourself, be safe, because there's always going to be people that are going to try to take advantage of you in some way or another. Be very, very careful, but have fun. So those are a few tips for travel etiquette. I hope it helps you, and have a great time.
Thank you so much for listening to Normal to Formal Podcast, episode number 43, International Travel Etiquette. Remember to pack your patience this summer as you travel. Please follow me at Mrs. Tia Young on social media and Mrs. Manners on LinkedIn. My website is tiayoungimage.com. My book is called How to Navigate Premium Experiences with Confidence, Your Guide to Social Success, on Amazon. My TED Talk called Etiquette, the Lost Art is on YouTube or TED.com. Please stay in touch, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.